Welcome, everyone. My name is Nichel Anderson. I'm your host for my podcast show, Nichel Anderson Short Stories and Beyond. Thank you so much for joining me this particular week. For this month of February, I'm focusing on a new story called Atlantis, my take on that infamous place of history. So for this particular podcast, Nichel Anderson Short Stories and Beyond is mostly based on short stories, and most of them come from my theatrical productions that I have wrote or produced and directed. More importantly, one of them in particular is MOLIAE, that stands for Moments of Love in Ancient Egypt. It is based on my book titled Mitsrayim. Currently, MOLIAE production is still in the prep phase for the prestige Return of the MOLIAE Stageplay. And once those dates have been confirmed, they will be announced forthcoming. Also, I do have apps. You can get my app for this podcast and my other podcast show that I have, as well as the official websites for MOLIAE and my official website as well. You can get that app on Google Play or in the Apple Store. So if you want to support this particular podcast, and I hope that you do, especially if you've been following me for a while, go ahead and download the free app and please, share it with someone else. Okay, so today I'm going to kick off February, and it's a new story, a new short story that I'm excited about. I also have where I have two guest speakers that will be reading for some of the important characters within Atlantis. And the first one would be Mr. Rhys Haynes and Brett Lewis. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Rhys.
Hello, everyone. I am Rhys Haynes. You can follow me on my Facebook at Rhys Hacks and on my Instagram at Rhys X.
And Brett, go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
Hi, my name is Brett Lewis. I have a presence on Facebook. It's just Brett Lewis. I also have an email for those who would like to contact me for voiceover work, other talent at yahoo.com.
All right. So if you wanted to get in contact with either one of them, their contact information will be in the description box for this particular episode if you want to connect there. All right, so let's talk about Atlantis. My take on this, very excited, of course, and it's dealing with a particular time where I'm focusing on the timeline doing an astronautical event, doing the second equinoctial time that these particular twins were born, and it's after over 432,000 SARs ago, where it's written from the Sumerian text, the 12th planet that came into the solar system. And based on that text called the Epic of Creation, they called it the planet of the crossing, that created a gravitational pull that changed the course of order of the planets therein in the solar system, therefore creating battles and wars and unrest, looking for peace. And in that not alignment, you had different rulers that could not agree or work together for a common cause. This is where the two twins come into this type of timeline, where the orbits of the planet so far, where Atlantis is considered to be the leader in the area on Tamat that we're calling Earth now, as the intermediaries as well as those that respect the order of the solar region. The two twins, with their destiny in place, will have some challenges and opportunity to lead forward to bring all together. Okay, so the highlight for this particular part one of my take on Atlantis is during that time frame focusing on the royal family. So you have Acobi. He's considered the main leader or king. I don't really use the word king. I just didn't felt about writing Atlantis. It just didn't come up. It felt like they were more focusing on leadership and using that type of reference of their role in this time frame. So you have Acobi. He's over the center of Atlantis, and then you have the northern area where he designated ruler for his older son Matum. And soon you will see that the two twins, they will have joint rulership of the south of Atlantis. Atlantis, in my take, it will be both above water and underneath, both as an island where they have the most of technology as well as connected to land. And you will see or at least hear some of those aspects when I go forward. So overall, this is a particular time where there was a galactical battles ongoing to reposition the orbit of the planets, which correlate to their rulership and their power and control. And within that, they own, I guess you can say, politics in that sense, or their own internal wars on their planet to try to balance that out. And Atlantis, with their knowledge and their technology and their keen sense of negotiation for peace and balance, was a central part in bringing harmony, at least to the point where they can move forward and not back. So in this particular podcast, again, this is a premium podcast, so if you want to get the full short story, because eventually Atlantis will be clip snippets, as well as my other stories that I release. I do release the full, and then I do release clip snippets. To get the full clip snippets, I do have a link to my Patreon page. You click that link, you can find more information about that to get the full short stories when I do those clip snippets. For this month though, I'm releasing the full short of my premiere of Atlantis. So let's go ahead and begin for this week of my new short story series for season 2 of my podcast show, Nichel Anderson, Short Stories and Beyond. For this podcast entitled Atlantis, bonus part 1, entitled In the Beginning Era of All Igma. Opening scene. Many people were scurrying about as the scenes indicated that Legini was about to deliver the children of Acobi. As moments went to and for the new birth of a generation of twins during the second equinoctial period of Tamat and the round of the solar plane, left news spread it across many on Tamat and beyond. Within the many of 9 and 0 SARS of Legini, double new life within her, as indicated by the Atlantis High Priest Bako. Many Atlantis and people afar on Tamat, as well as the surrounding planets, awaited a chance for peace to bring balance with a great symbol of the trans birth, the beginning of balance that could very well cease the galactical unrest of many from the eons of SARS 432,000 ago during the celestial time of the Great Battle. It was the High Priest Bako that was assisting in formalities as he indicated to his temple the robes. They were his highest assistants. One in particular, the robe, wrapped the young babies in the whirlwind next to wife of Acobi, patiently waited for the next command from the High Priestess Bako to move along the ceremony that was about to begin. As the High Priest Bako motioned for the ruler to enter Acobi, he did, with his eldest son Matum. Both were seen very excited, for it was another sign of the second equinoctial period for their prosperous stars to come forward. Matum, now 14 years old, looked on with excitement of his mother and new siblings as his father went to Legini and kissed her on the forehead. She beamed, although exhausted, managed to still look radiant in the Apsu rays that beamed through the towers of opening to the Aspu El surrounding them. High Priestess Bako nodded for the temple with the robes to bring the babies to Acobi, and there was a gasp by the father and mother and their son Matum as they looked down to the delight of anew upon them. They were twins, a boy and a girl. They had the same birthmark on their right arm that signifies their connection to their life purpose. They kicked their little feet and rubbed their faces, not knowing of the extraordinary conception to this moment of time in Atlantis. High Priest Bako spoke with wisdom as 4 of the temple robes brought him the pages of a new from Pleiades. High Priest Bako spoke. In this moment, we find the symbol of a change and hope for birthing these twins that signifies our prosperous and protective stars yet to come. Let us follow their true intent to be here at this time of equinox cycle of anew to the leadership of Atlantis. Everyone said, anew. Acobi finally spoke as he held both of them in his arms.
In 7 days of the new equinox, one of another son and new daughter. Yes, indeed, and my first daughter will be named as the waters surrounded us, as the means for our purpose here therein.
Meanwhile, many Apsus later, in the stars' time of 1 and 9, we see the trends that over the many moments of stars bonded as they were in the room from beginning unto the now. In the day of Numa, it is Makato that is sitting in the meadows on a slight ridge leading to the mountain of Igma, watching her twin brother, Arinte, racing with his friends on the water surrounding them. One of them was known to their family for a long time, named Resup. In those days of Apsu of Atlantis, the second equinoctial time, the land went far green, forming many slight hills, and as well engulfing with so many trees of the tree of life, sprouted throughout the land afar, that connected to the island that surrounded the main center of Atlantis, led by their father, Acobi. Makata and her friends watching her brother racing through the rapids of the water on a Nashata brought a wonderful feeling as the new Apsu continued onward. They were on the land that was 30 degrees south from the center realm of the above Naru of water, the center of Atlantis. Makato yelled in support of her brother as she sat on the tallest sand mist dunes that engulfed the area to the southwest of their location. Makato yelled in support of her brother as she sat on the tallest sand mist dunes with a few others. Aroa, Aroa, Nafaya, Atate, Arinte, Arinte. Translation: go with force, Arinte, go, go. As the others cheered on as well, it was Resup that and 2 others along, racing with Arinte, that although was close, did not win. Arinte continued on with sheer force and won the race upon the Tala Ridge waterway. Arinte beamed with excitement, for you felt thrilled to be winning after the last game of fortune did not go as well with him in the lead. They made it to the others, and it was Makato that made it to them first with her closest friends. Makato spoke. We are proud of you, Arinte. You can move forward at the next celestial moment in this star. You will win, Arinte. Everyone beamed of support and calmness to Arinte.
I will, and Kanum it shall be.
As he held a half-square medallion given to him by his older brother, Matum. End scene.